3.8 is just a few days away, and today I'm here with the full updated 3.8 guide for one of the characters in the Phase 2 half, this time being Fugue. In this video, I'm taking you over everything you need to know in order to build and use her, including an overview on her kit and eidolons, best Lightcones, best relic sets and Planar ornaments, the relic sets for mainstat and the substat goals, and then some general team building ideas. Fugue's basic attack will deal fire damage based off her attack to a designated enemy. Her skill will grant a designated ally Phoxian Prayer and enter the Torrid Scourge state, which will last for 3 turns and decreases by 1 at the start of Fugue's every turn. The ally with Phoxian Prayer will have the break effect increased by 30% and can now also reduce toughness regardless of weakness type, with the effect being equivalent to 50% of the original toughness reduction value and cannot stack with other toughness reduction effects that also ignore weakness types. While in Torrid Scorch state, Fugue will enhance her basic attack, and anytime an allied target with Phoxian Prayer attacks, Fugue will have a 100% base chance to reduce the attacked enemy target's defense by 18% for 2 turns. The enhanced basic attack will deal fire damage based off her attack to a designated enemy and fire damage based off her attack to adjacent targets. Her ultimate will deal fire damage based off Fugue's attack to all enemies that also ignores the weakness type to reduce all enemy targets' toughness, and breaking weakness will trigger the fire weakness break effect. Her talent, while Fugue is on the field, enemy targets will additionally be afflicted with Cloud Flame Luster that is equal to 40% of their max toughness. If the enemy's initial toughness is reduced to 0, Cloud Flame Luster will continue to be reduced, and reaching 0 Cloud Flame Luster, the enemy target will receive a weakness break damage again. While Fugue is on the field and after allies attack weakness broken enemy targets, it will convert the toughness reduction of this attack to 1 instance of super break damage at 100%. The technique inflicts daze on enemy targets within a certain area for 10 seconds. Entering battle via attacking dazed enemies will advance Fugue's action by 40% with a 100% base chance to inflict each enemy target with the same defense reduction state that is applied by Fugue's skill for 2 turns. For A2, after an allied target's break weakness, it will additionally delay the action of the enemy target by 15%. Her A4 increases Fugue's break effect by 30%. After using skill for the first time, will regenerate 1 skill point. And her A6, when an enemy target's weakness is broken, it will increase the teammates, i.e. excluding this unit's break effect by 6%. If Fugue has 220% break effect or higher, the break effect increase is boosted by an additional 12%, lasting for 2 turns and stacks up to 2 times. And then for her eidolons, her E1 will increase the ally target with Phoxian Prayer's weakness break efficiency by 50%. Her E2, when an enemy target's weakness gets broken, Fugue regenerates 3 energy, and after using ultimate will advance the action of all allies by 24%. Her E4 will increase the break damage up by 20% for the ally with Phoxian Prayer. And her E6 will increase Fugue's weakness break efficiency by 50%, and when Fugue is in the Torrid Scourge state, Phoxian Prayer will be taking effect on all allies. For Lightcone options, Fugue's best in slot is still her signature Lightcone, providing the wearer a 60% increase to break effect. When an enemy target's weakness gets broken, there's a 100% base chance to inflict the charring state to it, which will increase the break damage taken by 18% that lasts for 2 turns and stacks up to 2 times. Very simple Lightcone, you want to build Fugue with a lot of break effects, so the 60% break effect increase is good. And her role is also to amp the break damage that your main DPS can deal, and this Lightcone provides another way by making enemies take more break damage. Up to a 36% increase to break damage, which is going to be one of the few sources to increase the break/super break damage you are dealing, and the best part is this is going to impact everyone on the team and not just the main DPS themselves. So the other characters in the team that might occasionally attack and deal super break damage, they also will be getting an increased break damage since it is a debuff on the enemy, so anytime you attack that debuff that has the charring state on them, will be able to take 18% or up to 36% increased break damage. So not only is it good for your main DPS, it's good for anyone else too, making this her signature best option still. Another option you can use is Cypher's signature Lightcone, which does provide a 18% increase to the wearer's speed. After the wearer uses an attack, there's a 120% base chance to inflict Bamboozle state on every enemy, which will shred their defense by 16% for 2 turns. And if the wearer has 170 speed or higher, there's a 120% base chance to inflict Theft as well. And under Theft, enemy targets have their defense decreased by 8% for 2 turns. When Bamboozle or Theft is repeatedly inflicted, only the most recent inflicted instance takes effect. This Lightcone's usable on her since you do build Fugue really fast anyways. The requirement now will be reaching 170 speed to get the full effect, and this Lightcone can give you up to a 24% defense shred, which is going to be good for your break damage, as defense shred / ignore is one of the other sources to increase the break damage you can deal. Just be sure on the team you are not overcapping and reaching over 100% defense ignore / shred, since it is possible on the team. especially with all the sources that are available to you, such as Eidolons, Fugue's base kit has some defense shred, now this Lightcone, the 4-piece cavalry set, and so on and so forth. This Lightcone also provides 18% speed, so it helps you get closer to reaching that 170 threshold you would need. Only downside to this Lightcone is it's not providing any break effect, so it's going to make it a bit difficult to reach your 220% requirement, which is what you're going to want to reach, which can also kind of vary depending on the goal of the relic set you're running, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But nonetheless, Cypher's signature option is still an option you can use. Another option you can use is the solitary healing light code, which is also the Herda Shop light code, mainly just for the fact that at S5 it gives you a 40% increase to break effect, so it's kind of a stat stick. The dot damage and stuff is really whatever, and you can kind of get the benefits since when you do break with someone like Fugue, you are able to inflict the dot state, obviously. But you're not really focusing on that, so it's not something to really pay attention to. It's something that can proc and runs, like I did mention, but it's not something you're fully relying on. The Lightcone's main effect is the 40% break effect increase, so if you had this Lightcone available and not any of the other options, it can be one you use. Another option you can use is the Resolutions Lightcone, which hitting an enemy that is not ensnared has a 60% base chance to ensnare them, and ensnare will make enemies defense shred by 12%. And at S5, the base chance becomes 100% with a 16% defense shred. So just a worse version of Cypher's Lightcone, less defense shred, no speed provided. If you're really down bad on options, you can use this option, as again, defense shred is good on break teams. A situational Lightcone you can use, mainly if you're alt spamming with like an eagle setup, is the tutorial mission Lightcone, which increases the wearer's effect hit rate by 20%, and when the wearer attacks defense reduced enemies will regenerate 4 energy, and at S5 it's 40% effect hit rate with 8 energy. Setups with this Lightcone might make it a little harder to build her, but the good part of this Lightcone is it does actually fill in a lot of her effect hit rate requirements, since she does have an effect hit rate requirement. So this Lightcone giving you 40% is really good. And since she's able to defense shred in her base kit, you are able to make use of this. So using this Lightcone would mainly be going on someone who's running a really fast Fugue that's also built with just, a bunch of speed, and also primarily something like the Eagle set as well. So if you are wanting to do a setup like that, you can run the tutorial mission Lightcone. For relic sets, if you want to focus on the best damage, a Fugue can also contribute on the team. 4-piece Iron Cavalry would be the way to go. 2-piece provides 60% break effect. The 4-piece, when the wearer's break effect is 150% or higher, break damage dealt to enemy target ignores 10% of their defense. If the wearer's break effect is 250% or higher, the super break damage dealt to the enemy target additionally ignores 15% of their defense. 60% is good for building her, as I did mention 220% is going to be a requirement, especially on this actual relic set. 4-piece provides you a bunch of defense ignore, reaching the requirements of break effect, and you're going to be able to get the full effect of it since she does convert break damage to super break. So you get the full value of this, assuming you do hit the actual break effect requirements. So for the best damage from Fugue, you would run a 4-piece of this. And then when it comes to building her, if you just want to hit like a general requirement, such as having some break effect and also hitting like 160 speed, and you can't do that on 4-piece Iron Cavalry, you can run 2-piece break and 2-piece speed sets. So the break sets for the 2 pieces would be 2-piece Iron Cavalry, 2-piece Watchmaker, or 2-piece Thief. And you can combine that with 2-piece of the speed sets, so Hackerspace, Relieved Ordeal, or Warrior Goddess. All of them provide 6% speed, which can help you hit a hyperspeed threshold, which for the most part, regardless of the Fugue build you are doing, you want to try to reach. The last set you can run is the 4-piece Eagle set, which after the wearer uses ultimate, their action is advanced forward by 25%. This is especially powerful if you have a really strong setup going, such as running the tutorial mission Lightcone on her with this 4-piece Eagle set, and also something like E2, which actually does provide more action advance. Maybe you have something like Dance Dance on your Ruan May if she's on the team, and so on and so forth. You just want to make sure this relic set is letting you get another turn within a cycle, or at least making you act before an enemy would originally potentially do fatal damage. If you're just getting an action advance that pushes you up to a point where it doesn't matter, you're obviously better off just trying to build her for better stats or building her for better damage. But if you're able to hit good thresholds and or you want to do the setups with tutorial mission and spam as many turns as she can get, which can help you get more energy and can proc E2 if you have that, in that case you can use the Eagle set. For Planar Ornaments, there's only 2 you really want to use for the most part, especially now with the upcoming character Constance. You do want to use Forge, providing 6% speed and 40% break effect when attacking someone with fire weakness for 1 turn. Break teams that have Fugue are usually always going to have Constance on it now, and Constance always will be able to inflict the fire weakness even if you're not running Firefly. So you will be able to practically have permanent uptime on this. And if you're running her with Firefly, let's say now, or maybe you don't have constants at the time, maybe you have to wait for a rerun. Firefly also inflicts fire weakness, so you just want to make sure they have fire weakness, and so usually this will always be the set you are running. But let's say you're not really running this set because you don't have constants when she comes out. Maybe you can't pull her, and maybe you already have Fugue and you're trying to rebuild her, or maybe you weren't able to get her at the time and you ended up getting Fugue instead. You can also run the Talia set, which is just a worse version of Forge. 16% break effect and reaching 145 speed or higher provides an additional 20%. Gives you up to a 36% increase to break effect, which is 4% less than Forge, and also doesn't provide any speed, but the requirement is significantly easier. So this is, again, really only the option you would use if you're not running her with Firefly and you don't have constants for whatever reason on your teams, so you can't really run Forge, so you would run Talia in that case. For the main stats on the relics, for the body, you primarily will run effect hit rate, as you do need a requirement of 67% effect hit rate in order to guarantee her base kit debuffs with the defense shred. And if you're running any other Lightcone that also needs 100% base chance to inflict something, they would also need 67%. The only Lightcone that would really need less would be something like Cypher's, which has 120% base chance. In that case, would need around 37%. But for her base kit, you will need 67% regardless, so that's why I mainly run effect hit rate. But let's say you're running the tutorial mission Lightcone. If you are running that, it provides a lot of effect hit rate, and maybe you're able to get the missing 27% through your actual substats. In that case, you could run HP percent or defense percent for survivability. For the feat, you want to run speed. For the orb, HP percent or defense percent for survivability. And for the link up, energy regen is nice on her, since it lets you get ult more, but her ultimate isn't really providing any crucial buff. It's only something you really notice with E2. So if you're running a really fast setup with tutorial mission and or eagle set, even without E2, in that case, run energy regen. Or if you just have E2 in general, I would recommend running energy regen, but if you are not, in that case, you don't really need to focus on her ultimate, so then you can run a break effect rope instead. For the substats, first prioritize effect hit rate to 67% so you can guarantee her base kit debuffs. That is going to be one of the most, and if not the most important goal to get. Past that would be having a good speed amount. Ideally on Fugue, just get as much speed as possible. If you are running the Cypher Lightcone, obviously get it to 170 or higher. Otherwise, if you're just having a Fugue build on your own, just reaching hyperspeed at 160.1 or higher would be your goal. And then for her break effect goals, you want to make sure you do reach at least 190% if you're not running full Iron Cavalry, since you want to have 220% break effect to activate her full A6. You'd get 220% by having 190% since you do actually get 30% break effect in battle, so that's something you can consider. And if you want to activate 4-piece Iron Cavalry, you would need 220% so you can reach 250% in battle for full Iron Cavalry. So those would be your break effect goals, and if you can get more than that, that's just the better. Past that, you can get some HP percent and defense percent for even more survivability. And then for team building ideas, she would mainly just be on every single break team you do have. So for my first example, I'm going to use Boot Hill, so obviously the first two would be Boot Hill and Fugue. As I'm recording this, Constance is not out, but Constance would be another slot that would go right here. And then your last slot would go to your Sustain if you're running that, so Linkshot or Gallagher. And if you're running Sustainless, in that case, you could run Harmony MC or still someone like Ruan Mei, as she would work fine. But for an existing team that's Sustainless for Boot Hill, it would be Fugue, Boot Hill, Ruan Mei, and then an Action Advancer like Sunday, since Boot Hill does run them pretty well. Let's say you're running someone like Firefly or Himiko in a case. I'm just going to put Himiko on there since I don't actually have Firefly. So it would be Fugue with Himiko or Firefly. Again, third slot would go to Constance, usually always. And then last slot would be Sustained with Linkshot or Gallagher or whoever is your best option. And if you, once again, want to run Sustainless, you can run either Ruan Mei or someone like Harmony Trailblazer again. So really, any team with a break character is going to be where you do put her on. There's going to be no break team that doesn't really have her. And that does wrap up my full 3.8 Fugue guide. I do hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, drop a like, it would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of Star Wars content. Check the description to check out my Arcanines channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.